California had a rule that schools cannot be required to notify parents if their kids in school have changed their gender, their pronouns. That's the kind of thing, even though it doesn't affect a lot of people, that makes a lot of people go, well, you know what? That's the party without common sense. Now, if that's your state, how are you?
Well, I just disagree with that. I mean, the law was you would be fired. A teacher would be fired if a teacher did not report or snitch on a kid talking about their gender identity. I just think that was wrong. I think teachers should teach. I don't think they should be required to turn in kids. And by the way,
we're talking about their parents. How can you snitch? The idea of a snitch and a parent, to me, doesn't comply.
Bill Maher didn't hold back. On Real Time, he went straight at Gavin Newsom, live and unfiltered, accusing him of running a state in decline. From homelessness and high taxes to crime and mass migration, Maher laid it all out. The shock came when Newsom admitted that even the Democratic Party is starting to fracture. It wasn't routine politics. It was a moment that lit up social media. Maher's criticism wasn't random anger. It reflected the frustration of many Californians. The Golden State's shine has faded, replaced by sky-high costs and growing chaos. Under Newsom, homelessness has climbed past 180,000, the highest in the nation, despite billions spent on programs with little to show.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelinos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon.
Cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Oakland have become symbols of decline. Major tech companies, Tesla, Oracle, HP, have left for states like Texas and Nevada, with families following. Crime and theft have grown so severe that stores, like Walgreens and Target, now lock basic items or shut down completely. Add to that California's crushing 13.3% top tax rate, which has frustrated even lifelong liberals. Maher, a longtime Angelino, has mocked the idea of paying elite-level taxes while dodging potholes and tent cities. He's been warning for months that California's progressive dream has slipped into delusion. So when Newsom arrived on set ready to defend the blue state model with stats on GDP, Silicon Valley, and climate leadership, Maher wasn't buying it.
It's stuff like there's a new law in this. I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about. And this one, I think, says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you think that's silly? Do you think that's a silly thing that we too much government there?
That's an interesting one because the department stores came to us supporting that, and they were the ones making a case for that. They were making us. They're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, but they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support.
This wasn't a conservative ambush. It was one liberal confronting another. When Maher told Newsom, "You're running the state, everyone's leaving," the mood shifted instantly. Newsom insisted California is still thriving, but Maher pushed back, saying his own friends are fleeing. Top dollar dysfunction. He described the tents, the danger, the decay. Newsom talked compassion, but Maher cut in. "You've been in charge for years, and it's worse." Maher then hit taxes. The middle class is drained. People making $80,000 can't afford rent, and buzzwords won't fix it. With 500,000 residents gone in a year, the facts spoke louder. Then Maher landed the final blow.
I feel like this country is divided into owners and healers. People think you can own the other side. Gavin Newsom owned DeSantis. DeSantis destroyed Gavin Newsom. Or people who want to talk and heal. And I feel like the next president's going to be, at least if it comes from this party, the Democratic Party, someone who wants to talk and heal.
It's important. Democrats, we tend to be a little more judgmental than we should be. This notion of cancel culture, you've been living it. You've been on the receiving end of it for years and years and years. That's real. And Democrats need to own up to that. They've got to mature about it.
Maher reminded Newsom that every person leaving California is the tax base walking out the door. Fewer taxpayers mean fewer social programs. It was blunt, surgical truth. Newsom tried shifting to green energy and tech, but Maher delivered the final line. I love this state. But when the lights go off and everyone's moved to Austin, who are you leading? The silence said everything. Even loyal Democrats admitted Maher's words hit hard because they weren't partisan, they were personal. In that moment, Maher became the voice of the disillusioned Californian who believes in progressive ideals but refuses to accept incompetence. Newsom tried to recover with polished talking points, but the damage was already done.
It was looking bad there for a while, and we still don't have enough water in the Colorado River and all this stuff. And then whenever I read 80% of the water goes to agriculture. Almonds. No one ever asked you about almonds? Oh, I'm going to ask you about almonds. We grow a boatload of almonds.
I'm well
here.
aware.
You know how much water it takes?
Many gallons.
1,900 gallons to grow a pound of almonds. Come on, man. Take on Big Almond.
Take on Big Almond.
Newsom's tone sounded like a polished campaign ad. Smooth, proud, and too rehearsed. Maher wasn't buying it. Newsom argued California's problems were signs of success and pointed to GDP, renewables, and venture capital as proof. Maher didn't flinch. People don't live off GDP, he said. They live off reality. Newsom smirked, but had no comeback. Then Maher hit harder. You can't brag about saving the planet when you can't even save San Francisco. The audience reacted with uneasy applause. Maher wasn't attacking from the right. He was calling out hypocrisy from within. Newsom tried to claim the chaos was just growing pains, but the point had already landed.
I feel like the last couple of years you've purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the DeSantis. Yeah, but I don't want to live in the Civil War country.
I agree with that.
You know what? Well, but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, this is a blue state and that's a red state. And I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. This has been a tough 5-6 years across the globe, not just in this country.
Newsom's answer sounded polished, maybe even sincere, but Maher wasn't convinced. You've had time, billions in funding, endless commissions. Where are the results? He asked. Newsom blinked, his confidence slipping. Maher pressed harder. You call it bold leadership. I call it mismanagement with good PR. The room gasped, because everyone knew the truth behind it. Newsom tried to lighten the moment. You're starting to sound like Sean Hannity. Maher shot back, smiling. No. Hannity roots for your failure. I live here. The crowd erupted. At that point, it stopped being an interview. Maher was cross-examining. Newsom's talking points couldn't break through the lived reality Maher kept throwing back at him. In a liberal space, the governor suddenly had no shield left.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you think that's silly? Do you think that's a silly thing that we too much government there?
That's an interesting one because the department stores came to us supporting that. And they were the ones making a case for that. They were making a case they're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, but they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself. But I understand how that's exploited, and good people can disagree. But that's not something we woke up and said, this is a top priority for the state, when we know the top priorities are homelessness, housing, the issues of crime, quality of life, and issues related to regulation and taxes.
Newsom came on the show to defend California, but instead became the face of its failures. Maher pressed him on homelessness, reminding him that billions spent haven't changed the tents on every block. Newsom blamed courts, inflation, and bureaucracy, everything except himself. Maher pushed back. Compassion isn't letting people rot on sidewalks. It's results. When crime came up, Maher rejected statistics and focused on trust. People and businesses are leaving because they no longer feel safe. Newsom tried to shift into hopeful, polished messaging, but Maher cut through it. The world you describe doesn't match what Californians live. That line hit like thunder. Viewers said it finally exposed the gap between California's progressive image and its reality. By the end, Maher wasn't interviewing, he was cross-examining. And Newsom's confident smile had cracked. This moment mattered because it came from inside the same political camp. Maher wasn't attacking for clicks. He was calling out incompetence disguised as virtue. The showdown went viral because it voiced what many are afraid to say. If California is the model is broken.